guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I have the first of a two-part video tutorial on how to make a file folder flipbook out of an old file folder or a purchased file folder. This one I made out of a craft colored file folder, and I had them already. They were purchased at Staples, but I had purchased them for another for my preschool class for something that I used, but I wanted that color when I purchased them, and they only had them in a box of like 100, so I have a lot of them left over. So I decided to make it this is for a swap I am doing, and I'm going to be sending this out soon, and I had requests for a file folder flipbook tutorial in the past, so I decided to do that with this one. And this is a really chunky flipbook, super chunky, because I love to embellish. So if you would like to see how I did this, how to make the base of the file folder, that will be today, and then tomorrow I will be releasing the second part, which will be the actual decorating and adding of all the goodies and stuff. So here's a sneak peek of what it looks like finished, and stay tuned, and I will have the tutorial on how to make the base of this. So see you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so the items that you will need for the flipbook is a scoreboard. You'll need a paper trimmer. You'll need some liquid glue, or if you want to use double-sided tape, like the red line tape, you can use that as well. Some scissors, a pencil, and then you will need a file folder, and it can be whatever color you want. Today I'm using the craft file folder, and I picked those up at Staples, but you can also use the manila folders, or if you go to like a Tuesday Morning, and I think maybe Home Goods, places like that will have the really pretty like floral ones if you want to go that route. But I like this color. It's going to go well with what I'm going to use. I have this paper here. I had picked this up at Tuesday Morning, and it's double-sided by Kaiser Craft, and it has a lot of browns. I'll put it this way. It has browns, pinks, and greens in it. So I thought the craft paper would lend well for that too, but it would also go with a manila too as well. But I chose this, and it's what I had on hand. So then I also picked out two other patterns of paper, a pink polka dot and a brown and pink polka dot. And then I had some cardstock. So this is just whatever your preference is for whatever theme you're going with on your file folder flipbook. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's see, we'll start with the paper trimmer, because we're going to cut the file folder in a couple different places. So we're going to take the file folder and have the tab side on the right, and you'll want to line the folded part of the file folder up at the top of your paper trimmer and trim it off the first cut at 4.5. And then set that aside, and then you will want to flip your file folder over so that the tabs are now on the left side. Your fold is still up at the top. Line that up at 6 inches and cut that off. So then don't get rid of this piece, because we're going to use this, or I'm going to be using it later just to make a rosette from it. So it's not scrap. Always use those pieces. Don't throw them away. So now we need our scoring tool, our scoreboard. And I just have the Martha Stewart scoreboard. And you'll need your a score tool or your bone folder. I'm just going to use the bone folder. That's what I have. So you need to take your folder and the folded edge, line it up along the left side of your score board, and then measure over to 4.5 inches. And you're going to score at 4.5. And then flip it over with the left side still here and score it again at 4.5, just so it has a good score line. Oops. And you may want to use a ruler and line up against it because you're scoring through 2 thicknesses. So we are going to do that on both parts that we cut. So again, take your file folder with the fold on the left, line it up on the left side, and score at 4.5. And then flip it over and do it again. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to take our, where we made that score mark, and fold it back on both sides like that. And you can take your bone folder and crease it. So now we have a fold in the center. Crease it on the other side. And do that with both pieces. So it's like there's a mountain in the center on both pieces. So what I want to do with this file folder flipbook is I want to make, so my file folder flipbook is going to be opening like this. So this is the back, this is my front, but I want to have another flip coming out the top. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this piece. Well, actually, before we do that, we want to make our pockets. So this middle section that makes the mountain, these are both going to be pockets. So where I want my, since my book is going to be like this, I want to have a pocket coming out so I can slide tags in on this side, on the right side. So that means I need to have glue here and here. So go ahead and do that. This is the back, the underside of the mountain, I guess. So I'm going to take my glue, and since I want the pocket here, I'm going to put glue here. And at the down here. So go ahead and squeeze that together, wipe off any excess that comes out. And you can let that set to the side, and let's see, I think I'm going to actually set something on top of it to have it really glued down really well. So I happen to have my little sidekick here that's pretty heavy, so I'm going to set that there for now. And then I'm going to take my other, and I want to make this one actually do the same thing. I'm going to have the pocket coming out here, so I want to do glue here and here. I'm pretty much putting glue in the same spots, but then we're going to be gluing this piece coming from the top of the book. here. All right, and stick those together. All right, I'm going to put the weight down on top of that. Okay, I'm going to let this dry for a couple minutes and I'll be right back. All right, so now what we have our two pieces of the file folder. They each have a pocket on the right side if you're holding it this way. So I'm going to turn this one this way, and what I want to do is have a flap coming off up from this side. So when you open it, it will be like that. You'll open it here. This will flap up like that. This will flap up like that. And this will be a pocket here and a pocket coming out here. So what we want to do is, my pocket is open up at the top when I'm holding it this way. I want to put glue on this side and attach it to the second part of my file folder. So let's put glue on there. We're just going to line up the edges with the fold in the center of this fold down there. Alright, so now we have our base of our flip book, and what we have left to do now is just to decorate it. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's see, let me pull in a little bit there. I'm going to take one of my pattern pieces of paper, and I decided I want this to be the front of the bottom layer of the front of my flip book. And this is my front here. So I'm just basically going to just start covering all of my flaps and things here. So I'm just going to be laying this down on the paper. I'm going to mark, since this just isn't a straight square, it has that tab. I'm going to line it up with both in the corner of the paper. A little bit of ways from the edge so I can mark where I want to cut the paper. So I'm going to line it up here on this edge, but down here I'm going to go a little bit away And I don't want my paper to go all the way to the edge of the file folder. I want it to have like a small border, so I'm just going to mark it right there. Move it down to the edge and then away from the other side and mark it where I want it to line up here. So I'm going to go a little bit in from and mark it there. So now I'm just going to take and use my paper trimmer. And line it up where I made those marks. Oops. And then I'm going to, you can either glue this down where you want it and then take your scissors and try and fussy cut around that edge, or I am going to lay it on and then trace around. And then just cut it out. And I'm going to go a little bit in since I want a tiny little bit of a border. Not even very much. So then that's ready to glue on. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing next is just continue within my book and add my base paper that I want. I'm going to do all the different coordinating colors and patterns on each page. I like to have, you know, like a different pattern, base pattern, then go back in and use the coordinating papers to do embellishments and like belly bands and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward. There's no, like, each of the flaps are most of them have a different dimensions and things, so you just kind of have to measure and cut, and it's usually always different when you put these together. So yeah, it's just pretty much laying it out and marking and then cutting. You can use your ruler and pre-measure or whatever, but the way I do it, I just a lot of times just eyeball it and then trim it and cut it. So with my scissors or with the trimmer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on fast forward. Alright guys, so I have my book all covered with the different papers, and so if you want to come back tomorrow, I'm going to have the video where I am going to make all the goodies and decorate. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you again tomorrow for the second part to this file folder flip book. Thanks for watching. See you next time. God bless.